Now that we've talked about where the farmers and ranchers get their inputs from, or the farm input supplier sector, let's talk about where the farmers and ranchers sell their products to, or where do they go after they leave the farm? Well, where they go after they leave the farm is the farm marketing sector. This farm marketing sector is composed of the processors, the wholesalers, and the retailers. And the main purpose of the food marketing sector is to deliver food that is produced on the farms to the consumers. Now, just as in the farm input sector, the farm marketing sector relies on a healthy farm sector as well, because the farmers need to be producing good, high-quality crops at reasonable prices for them to be able to sell it to customers through the food marketing sector. But by the same token, the farmer relies on the food marketing sector to be able to sell their commodities to the consumers. So just as the farm input supplier, who relied on the healthy farm sector, and the farm sector relied on a good farm input suppliers sector, the farm sector relies on a efficient farm marketing sector just as much as a farm marketing sector relies on a healthy farm sector. So we've been talking about the food marketing sector, but let's talk about what makes up the food marketing sector. Well, the components of the food marketing sector is first and foremost the farms that produce these goods. But then after the farms get done producing these raw agricultural goods, they're traded or sold to the processing sector. And the processing sector takes these raw agricultural goods and turns them into consumable products that the consumers would want. These are the people that are going to take raw oats and turn it into a cereal that you can go and buy off the shelf in any retail store that you want to. After they get processed and manufactured, it leaves the processing sector and goes into the wholesaling sector. And then these wholesaling sector, they take all of the products that's being produced, break them up into smaller portions, into smaller loads, and then they turn around and they sell it to the retailing and food sector. So the retailing and food sector then takes those big bulk packages coming out of the wholesalers and divvies it up into smaller packages to be sold to individual consumers. So the whole purpose here is to move products from the farm sector to the hands of the consumers. And that's done by taking raw agricultural goods from the farm sector, producing good agricultural or good processed goods through the processing sector, selling it to the wholesalers, who then sell it to the retailers, and then to this food service sector to where it gets in the hands of the consumers. Well, who is the food service sector? The food service sector are those that are producing processed, ready-to-eat food service goods. So a restaurant is often considered a food service sector. A cafeteria is a food service sector because they are selling already ready-to-eat goods and things of that nature. Retailing, on the other hand, are those stores that you're going to be buying products that you're either going to have to cook yourself or that you're looking to have it processed somehow further. So this food marketing sector is very vital to the U.S. economy. And the reason we know that is because in 2014, $1,469.1 billion. So that's 1.4, almost $1.5 trillion, or $1,469 billion was spent on food in the United States. This is the total U.S. food dollar. We'll talk a little bit more about the total U.S. food dollar later on, but know that that's what that is. The total U.S. food dollar is the amount of money that is spent on food in the United States in a given year. And in 2014, that amounted to $1,469.1 billion, or $1.4 trillion. But how are consumers spending that money? Well, they're spending it roughly half and half on food at home and then food away from home. So in 2014, they spent $737.8 billion on food for at-home consumption. What that means is they're buying food from grocery stores or convenience stores that they're looking to eat inside of their own home. They're buying this food to either go and process it in their own house. They're buying this food to make other things with it, and they're looking to eat it at home. So you see grocery stores, convenience stores, wholesale stores such as Sam's and Costco, supermarkets, specialty stores that serve food, combination between food and drug stores. Those are all considered these at-home food stores, all in that retailing sector. So for this at-home food, the United States citizens spent $737.8 billion on this food. But they also spent $731.3 billion on food for away-from-home food. Stuff that they're looking to eat outside of the household. So away-from-home food is classified as food that you might be buying from a fast food place, buying it from a limited or full menu restaurant. It could be something like a cafeteria. Eating at a cafeteria, whether in a hospital or a school or anything like that, is considered away from home food. So anytime you spend money at a fast food, limited or full restaurants, cafeterias, anything that you're looking to eat food away from outside of the home, American consumers spent $731.3 billion on this. And the way this amounts out is roughly 50% of your income is spent, or of Americans' income that is spent on food, is spent away from home, and half of it is spent at home. This is an amazing, impressive number, especially whenever you consider the fact that 8% of the U.S. GDP is spent on U.S. food, or food in the United States. This $1.4 trillion makes up 8% of the U.S. GDP. And out of that, half of that money is spent on away-from-home food, and half of it is spent on at-home food.